So Terry, going back to the day of the surgery, you've got to share with our viewers. What was involved on that day and how did the transplant go?
Yeah, so it was at VGH and it was early in the morning and I didn't really sleep the night before. And it wasn't from being nervous, it was the excitement that I'm gonna help someone, right? And so my wife came over with me and we were there first thing in the morning, got all prepped, and the staff at VGH is fantastic, right? Everyone was so accommodating and made me feel right at home. And again, the surgeon came out and said, you can opt out. And I said, there's no way I'm opting out this way, right? So they got me on IV and ready to go. And the surgery lasted, I think it was 3 hours. And it was fine.
Butterflies in your stomach, if not, I'm sure in your wife's stomach.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, there's always a bit of nervousness, right? And anticipation, but again, it was a calling. I had to do this, so yeah.
So you went in, 3 hours later, you're in recovery room.
Correct.
You're waking up.
Yeah.
Your first thoughts?
I didn't think that I had never had surgery before. I've never been, so to me it was a weird feeling just coming out of that. So, and it wasn't in pain. Like and then next thing I knew, I drifted back off and landed in my room and and then next thing I know, my wife's there and my sister, so yeah.
So in 3 hours, Terry, you saved a life. Would you hear what was the conversation with your transplant surgeon or your transplant team thereafter? Did they tell you anything?
Because it's anonymous, they really didn't. The only thing they did say when the surgeon came to check on me after is that the recipient that he did after I think he said he had Tim Hortons for lunch or something before he went in surgery. But 20 minutes after surgery or after the transplant, the recipient was actually producing urine, which is amazing, right? That's just an amazing fact.
It is amazing how this kind of surgery can go so well. I wanted to find out about your post-recovery.
Yeah, so I was in the hospital for 2 nighs. I wanted to leave the next day, but they said no, and it was totally fine. But I'm driven, so for me, I started walking the next day, and I just did laps in the ward, just keep up and make sure that, hydrated and make sure that I was able to, pass urine. And so once that happened, the surgeon said, you're ready, you want to go out, don't you? I said, I do. And so he let me go. How
long was your recovery process, past that, before you were sort of back into regular life?
So, within about a week, I did something stupid and I lifted, because they say don't do anything heavy, and I lifted something and
it's major surgery.
Yeah.
Right.
So that hurt a bit. But other than that, I went back to work in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. And then after I chatted with the surgeon, he can say you can start exercising. I think that was in 4 or 5 weeks or something. And then I started walking, and then I started running within 2 months. And then in October of last year, I did my first half marathon. Yeah, so it was nothing. It was like nothing.
Isn't that amazing that you said a half marathon?
Half marathon, yes.
9 months later?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you would have had to be training all along for that.
Pretty well.
I mean, isn't that amazing? What's the process now?
So after the initial assessment, and I'm finished with the Vancouver team, and now it's just back to being checked annually with my family physician, which is blood pressure and urine sample and blood sample and so forth. But that's it. I don't need to go to Vancouver for any of those testing. So it's like back to normal.
You did that marathon, half marathon, with 1 kidney. And your transplant recipient, whoever you donated to, has 3 kidneys.
Right.
What a lot of people don't realize is they don't remove the kidney, right? They just implant the next kidney.
So one of the reasons why I was so strong in terms of my belief in donating is, I'm in my 60s. I think I'm in relatively good health. And like you're mentioning, why would I wait till I'm deceased to donate a kidney when someone else could use it now? So that was my reason on why I really pushed to be a living kidney donor. People ask, why did I do it? And I kind of reverse it and say, why not? Given the fact that you can live healthy life and you can help someone else out and perhaps change their life forever, right? I think that would change their life forever. But it's such a small deed. It's such a small sacrifice. And people don't realize it. And I didn't realize it until I started looking into being, a living kidney donor.
You look like the poster person for living organ donation because it hasn't interfered
None.
with your life at all on any level.
Not at all. And part of that evaluation, they make sure that you do qualify and you're on top health, because anything that would jeopardize your health, they're not going to go forward with.
One piece of information for people is that if you do donate, if you are someone like yourself who's donated, should something happen down the road, you actually go to the top of the transplant list and they do everything for that. But it sounds like you're taking phenomenal care of that kidney.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
Did you have any pictures? Did they show you the kidney at all after it came out?
No, they didn't.
This is a personal request.